We have seen last time the first part of Surah Luqman, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the key to gain wisdom from the Quran, and the key is to be a muhsin. So first of all, Quran is no doubt a source of guidance and a source of wisdom, but in order to benefit from the Quran will never throw its jewels and treasures and wisdom to anybody. There is a prerequisite for a person to benefit from the Quran, and the prerequisite is that you need to be a muhsin. You need to be a person who is a perfect believer in Allah, and that is not a secret. Also, the surah gave, the first 3 verses gave the criteria of who is qualified to be called a muhsin, and it described 3 qualities: who establish prayer, and who give zakah and charity, and those who have firm belief in the hereafter, the world hereafter. And let me continue then with the next verses. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَيَتَّخِذَهَا هُزُوًا أُولَئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. Verse 6. So there are certain things that prevents the wisdom of Quran to reach you, and the reality is that the world is not a bed of roses. It's not that rosy picture. The whole world is a place of trial and tribulations, and the path towards wisdom is often paved with difficulties, and the main enemy here is the shaitan, Satan, and all its materials. His army among the mankind tries very hard, really, to deprive people from this wisdom, because shaitan is our deadliest enemy. Iblis has been the deadliest enemy of our father Adam. So in order to do that, he brings in lots of distractions from reaching the word of Allah to the heart of mankind. This whole group of distractions has been summarized in this verse by one word: lahw al-hadith. Okay. So these are material in various formats. Any kind of material that distracts people from the Quran is qualified to be called lahw al-hadith. Music, songs, any kind of media that will engage your time and effort so that you forget the Quran. This guy at the time of the Prophet, in the early days in Mecca, his name is An-Nadr ibn al-Harith, who brought from outside, from Persians and other civilization at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. He brought materials and stories of Persian kings and other nice stories, okay, mythical stories, and then invited the people of Mecca to come and listen to this newly brought material as a substitute of Quran, because it was a big headache for the Quraysh to see that the young generation are being in their terms deviated. That's why Ibn Mas'ud, the famous Mufassir and Sahabi, used to swear that lahw al-hadith is meant to be songs that is associated with musical instrument. It diverts the heart from listening to the melody and sweet meaning of the Quran. One particular thing that we might all have been victim of is what's called the social media. I mean, these things, I would say, is very agnostic in terms of its effect. So depending on the way how you use it, okay. But the thing is that the way how it has been used, say like Facebook or Instagram or other social media, it's just wasting hours of our valuable times in pressing like or commenting on somebody's silly the pictures. I'm eating this, I'm now waking up, I'm now dressing myself, I'm now, I mean, it's what kind of benefit this bringing to the society? I don't know. So the opposite of the muhsinin, those who do not deserve to get the wisdom from the Quran, are those who purchase this kind of material. So the anti-muhsinin, they run after anti-Quran, and anti-Quran is really what shaitan is promoting in order to distract people and divert them from paying attention to the Quran and the ultimate source of wisdom and happiness and salvation for them. And see how in this verse Allah used the word بغير علم ليضل عن سبيل الله بغير علم, without knowledge. I mean, those who really substitute for the Quran with this kind of material, songs and music, these are ignorance. They don't have knowledge. I mean, the most polite way to describe them is that they are ignorant. بغير علم. Anybody who knows the value of Quran and compares with anything else other than the Quran, that is not beneficial, okay? Which are the lahu al hadith. Anybody does that and chooses this inferior over the superior, what would you call it? Call him an ignorant, crazy, foolish, any kind of thing you can tell. But moreover, I would say that he is not just ignorant and foolish. We need to give him some more derogatory and more foolish title, I would say. Why? Because he's not only exchanging this material, but also he is attacking the Quran. وَيَتَّخِذَهَا هُزُوًا. Okay. So he did not stop at just taking the lahu al hadith and rejecting the Quran. No. After he took the lahu al hadith, he went on to attack the Quran. So he is on a perpetual enmity with the Quran. So we have here now the vested interest as well. Humiliated the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is going to humiliate him both in this world and the hereafter. In the hereafter it's very clear, but often in this world also this kind of people are humiliated in terms of the satisfaction and the happiness that they feel their life very constrained. Then in verse number 7, Allah continues with this category's behavior with the Quran. وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا وَلَّى مُسْتَكْبِرًا كأن لم يسمعها كأن في أذنيه وقرا فبشره بعذاب أليم. Whenever the verses of the Quran and the signs of Allah is recited upon him, what is his reaction? He just runs away with arrogance, as if he heard nothing, as if there is a seal and there is a very heavy shield in his ear that prevents this wisdom of Quran to enter into his heart through his ear. Okay? And for them is the glad tidings of painful torment and painful punishment. Then in verse 8, Allah comes back to the believing camp. So see how repeatedly Allah toggles between these two categories or two groups of people, the believers and the non-believers. So while it started with muhsinin and their description, then it moved into the other group, and then now Allah is coming back to the first group as well, who are the believing people who really stay above those temptations of spending hours behind the lahu al hadith, and they take the Quran and all the associated knowledge that the Quran encourages people to acquire. They take it seriously and seek the wisdom from the Quran. For these people, there is Jannatul Naim, okay, eternal paradise, where they will live forever, Khalidina fiha. And this is not something, I mean, it's not a promise by somebody who is well known to tell lies. Rather, it's a promise by Allah, who is the owner of the paradise and the most powerful. So we should take this promise seriously. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا, and He is the wise and the powerful. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ.